Segment 3, we're talking the Lions.
Rawr.
That's all you have to add here? That's all you have to add?
I'd do something.
Listen, I think that Brad Holmes, unlike Al Avila, and Al Avila's dumb buffet of menu that is garbage, and he has absolutely got nothing in return.
That's like the Golden Corral.
No, it's like Ponderosa. Anyways, what Brad Holmes did in the draft was so good.
Yeah.
The reason I liked it is he got a perennial All-Pro left tackle in Penei Sewell. He goes in the second round. He gets Levi Onwuzurike. You couldn't say that if you tried.
Levi Onwuzurike. Personally, I think Penei Sewell is a name you got to be a little more careful with, especially on the first name. Just saying.
That's a good point. And then, in his third pick, he gets Aleem McNeil, who's a defensive tackle from North Carolina State.
Yeah.
Also a very mean dude. Then they go with the Syracuse cornerback Ethan Wandu. I don't know. I gotta practice that. But then in the fourth round they get Derek Barnes.
I like that one because we can say his name, Derek Barnes. I got that one.
The thing about Derek Barnes is he could be a perennial middle linebacker and he could be stout down the middle. And then you look at Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's literally his name. Amon-Ra Brown from USC.
Okay, he sounds magical.
He's a pretty good player. But the thing about the difference between what Brad Holmes did is what Stevie Y has been able to do, and that is get meaningful players, not just in the draft, but he got outside the draft too. The wide receiver he got from Arkansas State, he is. We know someone that was a Kansas State fan.
We do.
We know someone that was a Kansas State fan.
Mm-hmm.
That kid absolutely tore Kansas State a new asshole for 3 touchdowns. They got him undrafted. They got Sage Surratt, who was supposed to be in the 3rd, 4th round for the draft. They got him as undrafted free agent too. We talked about with Al Avila how he routinely botched picks, right? You look with Brad Holmes, he built the culture basically.
Yeah.
Every one of those players is mean, tough, and nasty.
And I like that. I really do. I think we need to get mean and tough and nasty here in Detroit. And quite frankly, you could take that and extend that across all of our sports teams. The Wings need to get tough. Look at whenever we've been successful in Detroit. It's part of our culture. It's part of who we are. Whenever we've had any success, we've been tough. You've got the bad boys with the Detroit Pistons. You had the grind line with the Red Wings.
Yeah.
Even in baseball, you can make the argument. Look who was on that '84 World Series team. Kirk Gibson.
I agree with what
you had some tough guys on there.
I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like the thing about championship teams is they're built with the attitude.
That's
Dan
right.
Campbell has an attitude, like he wants to tear some people's heads off and kneecaps and do a bunch of
bodily harm.
But the thing about it is the guy that they drafted in the second round, he had the best quote of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, his exact words were, and I paraphrase because I don't have the quote in front of me,
mm-hmm.
but he goes, "I just like making people feel like shit and tearing them a new asshole." That was his exact quote. But we can say it because we're not FCC guidelines, but that's literally what he said.
Didn't someone say something about effing somebody up too?
That was our second round.
Up. Yeah.
That's our second round pick. And he's a big guy. He's fast. It's like, so they're building this team through the interior, the trenches, you know?
Yeah, I like it.
And
I like
when we talk about building teams, you always talk about how, in football especially, you say you want to build the offensive and defensive line. Well, with the offensive line and Penei Sewell being that pick, he has the potential to be an all-pro. So you add him to a line that already has Frank Ragnow, Taylor Decker, Jonah Jackson.
Yep.
That could be one of the top units in the NFL offensive line, right?
Absolutely.
So then you go to the defense line. You willingly just made the defensive line better, which is that was your whole problem for years. Is they added Michael Brockers, they added they added Michael Brockers in free agency.
Right.
He brings a toughness too. And you put these rookies in there, and like you have a really, really good nucleus.
Good foundation there.
It's a good foundation.
Yes.
Foundation, and you're gonna start. And I think the thing that Brett Holmes does best is he's best at drafting in rounds 3 through 7, and that's what the good GMs do. You see, Eisman does it.
Yep.
He did in Tampa Bay with, Braden Point, 3rd round pick. He had Tyler Johnson, was undrafted free agent. Good GMs make good picks all throughout the draft. They don't just get the 1st round picks.
Right. Well, that shows their sophistication in knowing what they're looking for, because everybody knows who to pick in the 1st round. And that's a no-brainer.
And when we talked about Al Avila last segment, in the Tiger segment, we said, the one thing he's done is he hasn't got these impact players. I think what you see with Stevie Y, Brad Holmes, and Troy Weaver of the Pistons is this. They draft really, really well. They have reasons for the picks that they're doing. That is the key.
And they draft well deep into the draft.
Yeah, and that's the biggest point. When we're talking about general managers and how I was always told, when you're drafting players, right? You're not drafting them because you think their talent's good, because you can get talent anywhere, right? You draft them because you know that they can fit your culture, and they will play their butts off, their asses off. They're gonna go for you.
Yeah.
You can see that with what Brad Holmes is doing. You see with Stevie Y when he added Sider. That's a guy. It's another guy that's tough and can play hard. Yeah. And what Brad Holmes did is the same thing. He literally is. He's doing what he did in LA, where they are just getting people who fit the culture. He didn't have a 1st round pick in LA, and he was running their draft boards. And he has the 1st round picks here. He trades Stafford. He gets Goff. Who knows how Goff is going to do? But it's basically like a show it, prove it kind of deal. If you do good, you get to stay. If you don't do good, your replacement is going to be right through the door because they have 2 1st round picks.
And I think Goff's ready to perform. I think he's ready to show us what he can do. So I don't think we're going to have to worry about a QB. But I think they drafted well around it.
And if that is the case where they don't have to worry about a QB, I'm going to tell you this right now. If that's the case, the Lions could be very, very, very dangerous. Because if they don't have to get a QB,
right,
they can focus all that on other players and stack that team. Just do what, because it's I know he's your love child, and people in my work they're gonna like go, oh, he's doing it again. But Tom Brady, right?
Oh, yeah.
Last year he was not the best player that he was, throughout his career.
Well, sure. But he was the right player.
He wasn't the same player.
But he was the right player they needed.
Right.
Yes.
But the thing about Tom Brady, that he was on a team that was loaded for bear. When he wasn't playing as well, the defense picked him up.
Yeah.
And when the defense didn't pick him up, the running game picked him up. That's what good teams do.
And that's a testament to their management.
And if you watch the Super Bowl, the one reason Tom Brady was doing as well as he did all throughout the playoffs, everything, was because they had an offensive line. Yeah. And their defensive line literally crushed Patrick Mahomes. So when you look at Brad Holmes and you say, why? Why did you draft the first? Why would you draft an offensive tackle in the 1st round when you could have drafted Justin Fields, the quarterback? The reason is you build the lines through the interior. When you build the lines, that's when it makes the team better. So when you can protect the passer, when you can rush the passer, it makes everything better. Ask the Tampa Bay Buccaneers how they did it. They went out, they drafted well, they got pass rushers, they almost put Patrick Mahomes in the grave. And Tom Brady was well protected. He didn't get touched basically the whole year. And when he did, they lost. That's what the game of football is about. So when we talk about why did Brad Holmes did it, he did it because if you look at the Super Bowl, that's how the teams are built. They have an offensive line, they have a defense line, and they just have the right attitude.
I agree, and I have to say, did you miss me? I missed draft day, and I was so excited about it. And I apologize for not being here. You all just got stuck with Joe, and you didn't get to see me.
Yeah, well,
but
we did a short kind of segment.
Did you miss me, Joe?
Yeah, well, it was
oh, come on! You got to concede it a little bit.
It was
just
kinda,
give me a little.
It was
love.
kind of boring by myself. I didn't have no one to banter with and say like you're dumb. So.
But you did really, really well, and I want to say I missed all of you. I missed you, Joe. But I had some important politics business to do. So that's where my first obligation is. So love all of you, and I'm glad you enjoyed the Draft Day show, even though I wasn't there.
We'll see you next time on Between the Whistles. I'm Joe.
I'm Cindy.
And we'll see you next time.